Ruth, finding safety after loss and risk. Ruth lived during the time of the Judges, an uncertain and often violent age. Her husband died, leaving her a widow in a foreign land. Naomi had also lost her husband and both sons. 2 widows remained without protection, income, or a clear future. When Naomi returned to Bethlehem, Ruth stayed and said, "Where you go, I will go." Ruth chose to become an immigrant. She left Moab, home, family, and familiarity, to remain with Naomi. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest, poor and exposed. Ruth was a Moabite among people who distrusted Moabites, widowed, displaced, and dependent on daily provision. Ruth said to Naomi, "Let me go to the fields and gather leftover grain." Gleaning was exhausting work reserved for the poorest, widows, orphans, and foreigners. She walked behind harvesters, collecting what fell. Survival meant laboring quietly at the lowest rung of the economic order. Gleaning was not only difficult, it could be unsafe. A woman alone in the fields faced real risk of harassment or harm. Ruth understood this, yet she had no other way to eat, so she went out, uncertain whose field she would enter or how she would be treated. Ruth began gleaning in a field belonging to Boaz, a wealthy relative of Naomi's late husband. When Boaz arrived, he noticed her. "Who is that woman?" he asked. The foreman, Jabin, explained that she was the Moabite who returned with Naomi and had worked steadily since morning. Boaz went to Ruth and spoke with care and authority. "Stay here. Do not go to another field. Remain with my women workers." Then he made his protection clear. "I have ordered the men not to touch you." He named the danger and prevented it before it occurred. Ruth bowed and asked, "Why have I found favor that you notice me, a foreigner?" Boaz replied that he had heard of her loyalty to Naomi after her husband's death. He prayed, "May the Lord repay you." He honored her faithfulness, not her status. Boaz matched words with action. He ensured Ruth had water, invited her to eat with the workers, and instructed his men to leave extra stalks for her to gather. He provided without humiliating her. Ruth could work with safety and dignity, not fear. That evening, Ruth carried home an ephah of barley, far more than a normal gleaner could expect. Naomi was astonished. When Ruth described Boaz's protection, Naomi said, "The Lord bless him. He has not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead." During the harvest, Boaz slept at the threshing floor to guard the grain. Naomi guided Ruth to seek lawful security. Ruth approached carefully and lay at his feet, asking for covering and protection. The act carried risk. Boaz responded with restraint and honor, praising her character and promising to act rightly. Boaz kept his word. At the city gate, he met the elders and addressed a closer relative, Elian, who held the first right to redeem the land. When that right was declined, Boaz secured the redemption and married Ruth publicly. The women rejoiced that the Lord had provided a guardian redeemer. Ruth's story speaks to anyone facing loss, poverty, migration, or unsafe systems. Sometimes, survival itself requires courage. God often works through ordinary faithfulness and quiet kindness. He still raises people who use power to protect rather than exploit. Your losses do not erase your worth. Faithfulness in hard places is seen by God.